So yeah, ReactVision is a toolkit for building cross-platform XR applications through React Native. And you write with one React Native code base and you generate a native app at the end of it. So it's not using WebAR or WebXR or anything. What we do inside Vero is our renderer, we rewrite everything that you've written in TypeScript. It goes through a bridge and gets rewritten into iOS, ARKit APIs, AR Core APIs, and OpenXR for MetaQuest. Yeah. So yeah, what is ReactVision? So yeah, it's a one code base written in TypeScript, React Native. So it's great for existing mobile and web developers who want to get into XR. They can jump straight in, and you're not compromising on the performance or anything because it's completely native. It's not bound by uh, WebXR or WebAR or anything like that. And that also means that as we continue to develop, we can add more platforms without waiting for them to add support for us. So yeah, so it's made up of three layers. So we've got the core of everything, which is Vero React, which is completely open source renderer, and that enables you to. That's what takes your JavaScript and your TypeScript code and rewrites it for you into native code. So if you're familiar with TypeScript, it's really easy to pick up and get started. Full Expo support, so it can integrate into existing kind of CI/CD pipelines as well for existing kind of mobile and web teams. And right now it supports iOS, Android, MetaQuest, and VisionOS. We're actually just testing internally. And just it works really well. We're just trying to get the build pipelines and things really nice. And we're also working on Android XR, and not on this list, but we are actually working on his Pico OS. And one of our community members actually just built their own bridge for Pico. So we might even get to it even quicker than we thought. So just a quick whistle-stop tour of what Vero can do. So it's got kind of all the standard things you'd expect from an XR framework. So we've got plane detection, cloud anchors, geospatial, object detection, semantic masking, world mesh, depth occlusion, image recognition, physics, particle engine, lighting, spatial audio, portals, and of course 3D models and animations. So the next layer is the platform, and this is for powering cloud anchors for concurrent shared user experiences, geospatial anchoring. So if you want to build like a location-based XR experience, we've got a geospatial API on top of that, and then we've got asset creation, so image to model, text image, all of those things for creating the assets. If you don't have them, we have all of that as well inside the platform. And then we can host all the assets for you that you can then attach to your anchors. And then the third thing is Studio, and this is for non-technical builders. So this is a browser-based builder, enables you to build kind of drag, drop, use building blocks to build your XR experience. And there's also a Studio agent. And if we have time, we can dive into that a bit more. And that enables you to basically just describe to the agent, hey, I want to build this application, and it will go and build that for you in Studio. And then you can run that in your app by using the Vero renderer. So this is how the three layers kind of work together. So Vero React is the bottom, it's the open source, it's anyone can build on top of that. Then if you want to add more, you need, I guess, like platform, like if you want to do the anchors and things like that, we've got the platform that sits on top, and you can go all the way to the top and do the end-to-end build within Studio. So you can be like, got this idea, I need you to build it. And then it's just this single component here you add into your code base, and that connects, enables your kind of what you've built in Studio to then run through the renderer. And so on the AI side of things, as I mentioned, in Studio we have the Studio agent, and that enables you to build everything kind of visually. And then for developers that kind of want to skip Studio and want to build directly on top of Vero and the renderer, that's quite common. You get way more power as a developer. It's way more powerful to build directly on top of Vero than use Studio, because everything lives inside Vero. And so we've got an MCP server for that. So you can plug that into your coding agent of choice, and it has everything in it. I think it's kind of probably even knows some of the things that aren't even released yet, is in its kind of memory and its intelligence. So you can go from kind of idea to building something and having it running really quickly with the MCP server. And the MCP server is super easy to set up. It's free, but you do need a studio account just so we can monitor usage and things like that. But it's completely free to set up. Yeah, you can just go to create a free studio account or just follow the setup instructions, and it'll ask you to authenticate when you're adding into your agent. So here's I've just got a couple of example applications that we have kind of whipped up. This one is a geospatial app. It's super simple. You kind of just place an anchor where you are, and then the app through the AR is basically just constantly looking for anchors as well. So you place an anchor, and then we just use a 3D sphere to kind of bobbles where the anchor should be. And this was built in a single prompt. And this is the prompt here. There's also a QR code, so you can scan this. There's a kind of video to go along with this. So I'll show you how I built it end to end. There's a written tutorial as well. So you can kind of follow how we build something from kind of start to finish using a single prompt. You can obviously build kind of way more advanced things, but this is kind of what you can get off of a single prompt. And this is another example, which is a really simple Skittles game. Again, this is the prompt that I used. I got a phone screenshot, but there should have been, I think I have the wrong deck. This also works on Quest. So this single prompt built this game, and I was able to run it then on my phone and on an iOS phone, Android phone, and it also runs on my Quest headset. So within Vero, there are some kind of more advanced things you can do. If you ask the agent to do this, it will tell you you need to install an additional package. So we try, most things run through a single package, the Vero React package, but object detection is quite a big bolt-on and not everyone needed it. So we decided to run that as a separate package. But the MCP server knows everything about all of our packages in one place. If you do try and build something that needs a kind of bolt-on package, say you need that for object detection, if you're trying to do more advanced like selfie face tracking things, there's a separate package for that as well. The MCP knows all of this. So if you try and do something, it will tell you that you need to install the additional package. But when thinking about building things, object detection's a new feature that we've got that enables you to run object detection on device so that you can trigger based off of something that you see. So for example, you may want to load up a custom model that basically is like when you detect this specific mug in any environment, trigger this AR experience to happen, or trigger this scene to jump into action, or trigger this thing to happen within the environment based off of what objects it detects. So we do that through, so you need to train the model through YOLO, and there's like a specific model format and things that you need. Again, the agent tells you everything that you need to know about this from the MCP, but thinking about what you might be building at a hackathon, object detection might be quite important. So we have that capability. It is a separate package, but the MCP server knows everything it kind of needs to know about that. So yeah, getting started is really quick, really easy. We've got a starter kit. You can go and familiarize yourself with everything. We've got tutorials. We're adding some more tutorials between now and the hackathon starting next week as well. We've actually set up a page on our website. So if you go to reactvision.xyz/senseai, we're kind of putting a whole bundle of resources in there. So you can find all the setup instructions for MCP, really quickly go and create the account you need to use the MCP, links to documentation, and some example and tutorials, and a starter kit as well. The starter kit is really helpful to just go and familiarize yourself with, there's 4 or 5 example scenes in there, examples of physics, examples of geospatial, all of those different things you might want to do, like plane detection. That's all in there, and you can go and explore and kind of understand how how all of that works. Yeah, that's kind of everything right now. And I think I was just going to quickly, I can get off this. So this is Studio. So I was just going to really quickly show you what the Studio agent can do. It's a little bit easier to do than the MCP because I haven't got a device connected. I can get the screen sharing to work between devices. So I could put something in the MCP, but you're not going to necessarily see the output from it. So this is the Studio interface and the Studio agent. So this is a quick prompt I've written to basically, within an existing project, create a new scene. A couple of objects in there. One of them needs to take off when the user taps it. I can apply some physics. There's going to be an object that kind of falls down, and we're just going to let that run and see how it gets on with that. Seems to be running. Great. So here's the scene it created. So it's done what I asked it to do. It added a plane. It added Batman. When I click on the plane, I can see that it's got this on-click function so that the plane needs to take off. And if I apply the physics, there's the satellite. So the satellite is going to fall on Batman. And then you can, simple things like make the F16 scale 3. And then, yeah, within Studio, we have a whole load of other functions you can do. You can sound set variables, alerts, animations, run API requests, and then trigger different sequences and things and branching within sequences. So like you can make an API request and based on response, do different things. And anything you can do here, the agent can do for you as well. And then once you've built that in Studio, it's just a single component, the Studio Scene Navigator component. Put that in your React Native app, and then the screen that component is in will load the XR experience, and that will then run across iOS, Android, and Quest. But yeah, that's kind of everything to get started with. But I guess if there's any questions.
I can't see any in the chat, in the Q&A tab, but I can tell that you are solving something that in SF we saw that almost 74%, I did the statistics, so more than 70% were web-based actually. And people were mostly vibe coding using AI. So this is like the perfect merge of it all.
Yeah.
There's definitely like a shift that we saw, especially this year, that many people, prefer to build for web and with MCP tools and AI. So it's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to, this was originally a kind of community project, and we're trying to take all the amazing things you can do in XR and building for all these amazing devices that are coming out, rather than kind of learning anything new, bringing the power of all of that straight over to developers who already know React Native. But we also simultaneously are kind of helping solve the fragmentation of all the different platforms without having to compromise and use things like WebAR and WebXR as well. So anything you build here will deploy out into as a native app. But yeah, so you can build using Studio or you can build using Vero. I have a feeling people at the hackathon are going to prefer Vero with the MCP because it's way more powerful. You can get into everything. The Studio is great for kind of prototyping, and it's kind of more creative teams and things that use that who are less technical. So if you are less technical and you're at the hackathon, you can also use the Studio interface and the Studio agent.